I got the kids, so I may be turning my camera on and off.
Okay.
Okay.
You know how they get.
Yeah. All right. We live. We'll be right back.
Go, Griot. Go, Griot. Go, Griot. Yeah, I'm in the city, yeah. I'm in the spot, in the vicinity. I'm the hottest in the city, yeah, it really is. I studied the ones that was the realest, the illest. Invented, talking about West African passengers, scholar, Neos, fuck the Afro-Latino, fuck that, West Road. Raise a toast to the ancestors of old. For the knowledge comes in the form of a griot. In the form of a griot.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Griots Podcast. I'll let my beautiful sister introduce herself, and then we'll go down the line.
What up, good people? My name is Dr. Ashley Wade. I am happy to be here, first of all. Very, very happy to be here on the podcast. I'm a pharmacist. I'm an author. I am a community and literacy advocate, book club curator. And I love building with the people, touching bases with the people, and building something special and being intentional. And this podcast is another one of those spaces. And I am the chief executive of a silly magazine.
Who to the T? Who to the T?
All right.
Well, LaDaruis.
What's up, everybody? My name is LaDaruis. I'm a father of two beautiful kids. I'm a contributing writer to the Silly magazine. I'm a motion designer, a lifelong learner, and I'm a social media producer. So very, very excited about this episode. It's going to be a good one.
Yes, it is.
What up? It's the man, Sean P. I am the host of the Sean P. Experience, man, here on YouTube. Also, part of the VI podcast, amongst other things, man. 16 times self-published author, 20-plus year public speaker, college professor, community instructor, motivator, mentor, leader, inspiration, and a thought leader more than anything else. Salute.
All right. Peace, and power. I am Kofi Piesie. I'm an author, ghostwriter, a writer, founder and editor of Silly magazine, publisher of Same Tree Different Branch Publishing. I'm a public speaker. Man, amongst a whole list of other things that a book lover. I want to throw in. Definitely a book lover, a lover of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a ghost. I'm not what I like to call, I'm a bridge builder, right? So that's one of the most important attributes that I have, that I'm not a gatekeeper. That's not in my DNA, but I'm a bridge builder. All right, so let's get into the Griots Podcast episode. What is this? Episode 6 of season 4, right? So we always start off with the opening segment, and I'll turn it over to our good brother, Sean.
Let's do it, man. So I got a very, very special opening segment this time, man. This is near and dear to the heart. I am talking about Mr. William Kofi. He is a deeply inspiring figure in the history of American cryptology, whose intellect and leadership shattered barriers during World War II, right? So he was born in 1917, educated in English at Knoxville College. He was hired in 1942 as a junior janitor, y'all. He was hired as a janitor at Arlington Hall. This is the Army's cryptology headquarters. His sharp analytical aptitude was quickly noticed by superiors, leading to a rapid string of promotions from a messenger to a cryptographic clerk. Now, in cryptology, these are folks that are intercepting all kinds of messages, letters, you name it, and they're breaking down and decoding, getting hidden things for war intelligence, right? We see all these CIA movies and, Born Supremacy and John Wick and all this other kind of stuff. These black people are breaking down and decoding cryptic messages. That's what the job is, right? So in June 1944, when the Center Security Agency needed to expand their capabilities, he was hired with finding qualified candidates to form a brand new segregated unit. He single-handedly recruited 100 highly qualified African-American scholars, linguists, and analysts to join the wartime code-breaking effort, right? He was appointed assistant civilian in charge of Unit B3B. While military officers technically held the top title, historical records and peers note that Kofi was a true operational expert, running day-to-day deciphering mechanics of the unit. Under his management, the unit expanded to 30 personnel divided into 6 further sections. So he directed the systematic identification, tracking, decryption of complex non-governmental commercial and diplomatic codes originating across Europe, Asia, Africa, and Latin America. I'm gonna leave it at that for today, but go ahead and tap into the book called Decoding the Devil. I interviewed that author on my podcast earlier in the week on the Sean P. Experience. Phenomenal book about the Black women that were decoders during World War II. So kind of remind you of Hidden Figures, kind of remind you of the Tyler Perry movie about the 6 888 women with Kerry Washington. And there are other stories of hidden women with all this genius, bro. They do so many languages. They understand so many mathematical, complex puzzle solving. Like, it's crazy, their story. It's not talked about. It's not widely known. The book came out like last month. Go and find Decoding the Devil, and I'm going to lead off with that. Thank y'all very much.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, man. I heard you mention the book. This past week you had mentioned it to me. I definitely interested in checking that book out. I'm gonna definitely get that book and tap into that book as well, man. And that's something that I say before we move on. We say this a whole lot. You know, we don't never know what we are all going to be presenting, you know, or what we all is going to be saying in this podcast. So it's always great once we assemble, because I know when we do this podcast, we not only sharing and conveying information to the people who watch this program, but we also conveying information to ourselves. So we also learning as we go as well. So, you know, that's the beauty of this podcast. I appreciate that, Sean, for that information. So there you have it with the opening segment. We're gonna get into the discussion in a minute. We have to go through these different segments. Next segment is the griot and griot. This segment real quick. What is a griot? Griot griot is unique to Western Africa. A griot or grioti or jali professional encompass many roles. A griot, pronounced griot, has been referred to as a historian, a storyteller, but there are no real words in the English language that includes all their functions. A traditional griot or griotist could do everything from recounting history to encompassing music to teaching students to acting as diplomats. They are genealogists, historians, spokespersons, ambassadors, musicians, teachers, warriors, interpreters, praise singers, masters of ceremonies, advisors, negotiators, and mediators. Not every griot does all of these things, but these are all examples of the functions that a griot profession embodies. I also want to add this as a grioti. A grioti is also trained in some way through griotis tending to learn from other women. The grioti is a female storyteller. She's a traditional singer, sings at ceremonies, celebrations, and special occasions. When a woman is married, a griotis will sing to her to prepare her for her new life. West African women sing about a woman's role in the society. So singing is also another form of educating our women. Also, when you see with these different ceremonies, these festivals, and etc., normally when you see a woman singing, she is a griotis. The same if you see the grioti or the griot, who they both are musicians. You may see the griot playing the balafon, which is one of his musical instruments. So the griot and grioti host many roles. So, people are familiar with them being storytellers, but we just gave y'all a list of roles that these griots and griotis can serve in. So that concludes my part of the griot and griotis segment. We'll go into the Black Inventor segment, which is by our brother LaDaruis.
Speaking of griots, I want to highlight a griot that was mentioned in the Sky Full of Elephants. Mr. Granville T. Woods. He was a prolific inventor and electrical engineer whose inventions revolutionized railroad transportation and communication. Born in 1856 in Columbus, Ohio, Woods received little formal education, leaving school at 10 to work as an apprentice machinist and blacksmith. Determined to continue learning, he studied engineering on his own and later attended technical school in New York, laying the foundation for a remarkable career in invention. Known as the Black Edison, Woods nearly earned 60 patents during his lifetime, many of them related to railroads and electricity. His most famous invention was the induction telegraph, patented in 1887, which allowed moving trains to communicate with rail stations and with each other for the first time. This breakthrough dramatically improved railway safety and efficiency and became the basis for modern train communication systems. Woods also developed electric railway systems, the third rail still used by many transit systems today, and improved air brakes for trains. Despite legal challenges from inventors such as Thomas Edison, Woods remained an independent inventor committed to his own vision. His ingenuity helped power the modern transportation age and secured his place as one of America's greatest inventors. Granville T. Woods.
Yeah, man.
So I first heard of, go ahead.
Now go ahead. You go first.
I was just saying I first heard about Granville T. Woods in a book called by Louis Haber. What was it called? It was called Scientists and Inventors. And the first thing that jumped out to me was he had little formal education, but the main thing was it was books. So he educated himself outside of the academic institution, and he became one of the greatest American inventors today. So for all the people out there that think you need to go to school, I need to go to school, do this. No, you don't. Marcus Garvey said the world's greatest men and women educated themselves outside of the university with everything the university student does, which is read and study. So that's all you have to do is read and study. So, yeah.
Shameless plug. In my book, Your No is My Biggest Blessing, I talk about that autodidact, becoming an autodidact, self-teaching yourself outside of the institution by reading and studying, you know what I'm saying, and et cetera. So most of us on this panel are also autodidact. We have these intense conversations. We have these intellectual conversations, and we didn't go to school for this particular subject matter that we speak about a lot. We are autodidacts. We self-taught ourselves through putting in the time, you know what I'm saying, spending money on the resources that we need in order to get this information. So yeah, well, let's get into go ahead. So you had something, sis?
Yeah, I had to add in real quick, man. I first heard about this brother. I had a presentation about 7 years ago around Black History Month. It was called Blacks in Science. And what I did was I did a chronology from, ancient Egypt time, way before slavery, through slavery, and then post-slavery up to current, showing Black genius at different levels. And he was somebody I covered in that particular presentation. And I am so glad that LaDaruis brought his name up today. I haven't heard that name in years, man, and you're right. It's a very, very important part of this conversation on Sky Full of Elephants. Our inventors, our creative, our genius that we had way before these other forces even came around us, man. We already had things we were tapped into naturally, man. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, Sean, too. Also, there's a book I read. I think it is called Black Science by
Yeah, they got
It's a
Blacks. They got Blacks in
Ivan
Science by
Van Sertima
Robin.
called Blacks in Science.
Yeah, Robin something. Robin Williams. Robin Harry.
was it Walker or something like that? But it's
Yeah,
Rob.
Robin Walker. It's like 3 or 4 volumes of Blacks in Science.
Yeah, I have the first edition. You know, and
Because
what's the other?
I use those books for the presentation. I reference those books for the presentation.
Yeah, I read that book years ago. Well, that one book years ago. Yeah.
It's a free understanding book, the science itself.
Yeah. It was another book. What was the other book that you said by Ivan Van Sertima? You said Ivan Van Sertima wrote a book on that LaDaruis?
It's called Blacks in Science, Blacks of Science, something like that.
Yep.
Real old.
Yep.
Real old.
Yep.
You know, I got all them books. It's on the shelf. Oh, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah. So so let's get into the book. Today's discussion we're going to be talking about Skies Full of Elephants by Cebo Campbell. This book came out, I think, early 2025?
24.
Okay. So, okay, I think the paperback came out in 2025. The hardback came out in 2024. This is I've seen this book when it first came out. I seen it on social media, especially Instagram. Seen it just floating everywhere. So I just went, that's the book. That's the book. Mm-hmm.
That's the Supreme.
That's the one I got right there, LaDaruis. Okay, I got that one too. Yep, I had that one too. Right. Well, I had that one too. You know, this is a literary podcast, so y'all excuse us. We book geeks. We get excited. We want to show off. We want to show our books. We want to talk about the books. We want to share what we read, what we get out of the book. So this is a literary podcast. So I just recently looked, you know what I'm saying? So LaDaruis told us he wanted us to, you know what I'm saying, read the book. Like I said, I seen it floating around tons of times, especially last year. I seen this book floating around. But I never did get the book. I never, you know, I really wasn't too much interested in the book. But I was glad that he suggested this book. He said I would love this book, and I got to reading this book, and I started love. It's one person in particular in the book that I started to hit LaDaruis up before we get started. Tell her this girl is making me sick. This girl is pretty making me sick. But I won't use analogy when we get into it about who Charlie represents and who she represents. So I want to make an analogy on those two because those two people actually exist in the Black family, in the Black community, you know what I'm saying, around the world, you know what I'm saying? So, but this book, before we get into it too, I was just looking, has sold 100,000 copies. So that says something right there that, you know what I'm saying, that this has to be a great piece of literature for it to sell 100,000 copies. I was blown away when I seen that, man. And anybody who pick up this book and read this book, you're definitely gonna like the book. It's a novel, but it has a lot of historical facts, evidence in there. Even like when they go to Mobile, I love when they go to Mobile. We'll talk about that when they go to Mobile because I want to get what Mobile was a hub for. Yeah. So let's get into it, man. I'll let LaDaruis go. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
No, I want to add on what you said about when the book first came out. So anybody watching this, if you're in the book space, quotation, right? Book top, book two, whatever book you're in. When certain books come out, there's so much fanfare behind it. Everybody and their mama posting it, everybody putting gas on it. For a person like me, it kind of pushed me away from something. Even like movies and music, when everybody on it, I'm like, I'm gonna fall back. Once everything died down, then I'm gonna hit it up. So when it first came out, I mean, people was hitting me up and inboxing me and calling, man, you gotta get it, man, you gotta get it. I was like, y'all put so much gas on it, man. So I tried to read it. I tried reading it years ago. The first 3 or 4 chapters, I was kind of like, man, y'all just put that gas on it. Like it wasn't really hitting me. But this time around, with us reading it together and us doing the podcast together, it helped propel me to go ahead and read it and finish it and had the audio version and the Kindle version. And I'm glad I did it. Now look forward to the discussion, man. It'll be a fire conversation, bro. Real timely for what's going on right now in the nation. Real timely. Real timely.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's get into it, man. I'll let LaDaruis start. We'll start off, man. Let you start it off, man, and we'll all come in, interject, and get what we got out of the book. And well, first, before you do that, LaDaruis, let me do this. I want to. All right, so two of the main characters. I want to pull up my notes real quick. Let me go off here and go into my notes because I ended up and taking a lot of notes last night too, or trying to take a lot of notes and this morning. So you got Charlie and you got Sydney, which is the main characters in there, right? And I'm saying that Charlie is a representation of all Black people who, you know, all of us has went through something. Black people in general, things are stacked against us, right? Injustice is upon us all the time. People are looking at us, you know what I'm saying, as a threat, as unintelligent, you know what I'm saying? So he looking at it, I look at Charlie like the common Black person who always has to be on guard, who has faced some type of injustice, whether you got fired because of your hair looked a certain type of way, you got, you know what I'm saying, you didn't get the opportunity because you didn't speak this way, or you was pulled over because you looked a certain color or whatever. So Charlie to me represents that the everyday common Black person. Sydney also represents the everyday common Black person because a lot of our people in our community are suffering or from an identity crisis, right? So I know a lot of people who are suffering from identity crisis, and Sydney represents that branch of Black people that don't know who they are and let the other people or the other world dictate who they are and who their identity is. So I wanted to set that tone for that. So when people do look at the book, that's how I looked at the book going into it. And that maybe how he set it up, and it may not be, but that's how I looked at Charlie and Sydney, which is the main characters in the book. If I'm off a little bit, y'all can let me know, you know, but what y'all feel about that? You know what I'm saying? What do y'all feel about that?
So what you just said just reminded me of what Malcolm X said about being in prison. Right? Being in prison meaning being of this European world and principles, right? So that's what I think. Also at the same time, you have to also think about that Charlie and Sydney have the same name. Both of their names are Sydneys, right? And Sydney or Charlie, he's the father, then he has a daughter. So you kind of see that generational curse, if you will, right? So whatever your parents carry, then you gonna carry. It may be even intensified over the years. So what you just saying that what came to my mind. But I also want to start off with the first page, the first paragraph. So I'm gonna just read it. They killed themselves, all of them, all at once.
All of.
So when you first open the book and you read that first two lines, like I want to know what's the first thing that came to your mind. They killed themselves all at once, all of them.
Jubilee was my first thought on that. Even without knowing like the context of what I was getting into, because I actually met the author at a Texas book festival down here. This was a couple years ago. Bunch of dope authors was in the building, and I listened to him talk about the book, and I listened to people like raving about it. But even still, like Sean said, it was on my. I got it, but I hadn't really tapped into it. So when I saw that first line, I said, you know what? This may be a novel that I sit with forever because of that one line right there. They killed themselves, all of them at once, and I immediately felt relief. I really immediately felt like a praise break. Like this where we shout right here. You know how sometimes in the churches they be like, y'all don't know when to shout. This is one of them shouting moments because it's not. It seems far fetched, but low key, if he can write about it right here, it's called manifest. These are the early stages of manifestation, and I'm gonna leave that like that.
You know, in the book space, once again, we're all writers on this panel. All of us are writers. And I've seen various bookish people talk about what's one of the greatest sentences you ever read, or what's a great opening sentence for a book. And some folks I know even have those things tattooed on them. From a Toni Morrison book or Alice Walker or Nikki Giovanni. His first sentence of this book, I could imagine somebody getting that, and I've seen somebody get that tatted on them. They killed themselves.
That's crazy.
All that one. Like, what about that sentence, bro? That's a heavy line. And I have a question for y'all later on about the writing of this book, but it coincides with that concept of that opening paragraph, opening sentence. Like, when I first saw that, my mind just going to 1,000 questions. Like, how, what, why? I'm ready for the backstory. I'm ready for how this came to this. Like, you know, incredible.
Yeah, that's kind of like for me, just reading that first line, even though, you know, reading novels and certain things like that, and us being writers, you know, and he's being what they call creative writer, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and a lot of us are creative writers as well. I understand plot, you know what I'm saying, when you write a thing. So when you're going in anything, you have to come out the rip with shock value when you're writing. You have to come out. So I was ready to get in. Why, you know, what and why, you know, are they killing themselves? Even though I hadn't too much got into a thing, but that quote alone made me say, shoot, it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night. I was gonna read a few pages, but it's gonna be a long night because I got to see what's going on.
At first, I was like, I can shut the book right here. The book over with. That's all I needed to
Yeah.
know.
And I want to set something up for the rest of the podcast, right? For a lot of us black people, for 400-something years of this, the wilderness called North America, as they say in the next round, right? We imagine how good our life could be if it was just us. We imagine if we didn't have to deal with them, we're gonna be all right. If we ain't got to deal with them, our baby's gonna be safe. If we ain't got to deal with them, we're gonna be able to advance and be healthy and whatever. So setting the book off with a line like that, you go straight into the possibility of the what if.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the follow-up too. So like after that line, you know, I like to read. I'm gonna read it. We unsealed the jails first. Folks showed up swinging bolt cutters to liberate their lawless relatives into a world different from the society of which they were exiled, because no one stood guard anymore. No longer could anyone be exiled from anywhere. So after you read the book and you learn that Charlie is a man of systems, a master of systems, like he giving you a blueprint in that first paragraph. Like they killed themselves. You have to kill that white mindset, that slave mentality. You have to kill that first. Then what he said, you unsealed the jails first. You go free everybody first. Now your mind is free. Then he says time slowed down. All banks closed. You see what I'm saying? No more stress. You see what I'm saying? So,
hey y'all, I got something for y'all.
Go ahead.
You know, our brother Jared Woods on Instagram and TikTok, Dr. Woods, right? He had this series on Instagram. He said, if you love this book, well, no, if you love this song, you will love this book, right? He's comparing the two. This now LaDaruis, Nas classic song came to my mind. Nas and Lauryn Hill, If I Rule the World. Because the chorus says, if I rule the world, I free all my sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Nas said, open every cell in Attica, send them to Africa.
That's right. That's right.
Open every cell.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, open every cell in Attica, send them to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Free all our sons. You know what I'm saying? So that came to my mind when you said that. Like, wow, that's the song to go with this book. If I rule the world.
Okay. Right. Damn, and that's, um, damn, I'm trying to go back. You just said something, LaDaruis, the other side to it of something dealing with freeing. What did you say? Something about freeing the minds of what did you say?
You getting rid of that slave mentality, that European mindset.
Yeah. So with that, and we can go into the story, Charlie deal with that. A lot of those people deal with still having that slave mentality. It's like, and it's crazy. I was having this conversation, and this was last week to be exact. I was at my wife now had a family reunion up in Flowood, so we was up there at Flowood. So then it was 3 days. So the second day, earlier in the day, that morning, the family went to the Civil Rights Museum. So we all put our family reunion shirts on and we went to the Civil Rights Museum on that day. And we would speak, and the tour guide was speaking. And I know I kind of start being quiet because I kind of get excited about information and knowledge, especially when I'm aware of things and he talking and I'm riding, I'm with him. And then now everybody looking at me because now I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking, and then I get to now I'm over talking the tour guide. And I'm like, let me be quiet because I think I'm going, but then he loved it because, and then when we went in certain places where they had the video clips where they put up and we looked at, and I was talking about some of the things that was going on. And I was telling them, I made a statement, and I say this to a lot of people. We hate the conditions that we in, but we love the people who put us in these conditions. Right. And that was going through my mind as I was reading this book, because after they began to kill themselves, for people don't know, we're talking about white people. White people begin, and we'll talk about what transpired in order for these white people to start going and drowning themselves, going into the rivers, into the oceans, drowning themselves all at once, right? But even while reading the book, I noticed that they was making examples. They was still trying to justify that was wrong for them going into the water, and you know what I'm saying, and just I don't know, it's just something that we always see on the plantation, that we see everywhere. We hate our circumstances, but we just love the people who put us in these circumstances. So we always trying to make excuses for them and this, that, and the third. So that kind of like put me in the mind of that, and you will see that as those who begin to read this book and go through this book, you will start to see that, even though that those things is happening. I hope we talk about that a little bit later on, going into the chapter, about how even with those, because it happened to part of the world. It didn't happen to everybody a part of the world. And we'll talk about that unless y'all want to talk about what caused that to all white folks to start, going inside the water. And then even the psychology behind the things of the walkers. You know what I'm saying? When we get into the walkers and people, this is crazy. Like this book, I'm just telling you, it's crazy. So we just trying to give y'all some context, you know what I'm saying, on, what's going on.
Dr. Wade, please bless us next.
Absolutely. And I'm going to just chill too in the early part of the book too, because I think a lot of times in our culture, this is within us, we have difficulty imagining a world without white people. We'll say that, but we have difficulty imagining that. And also we want to go straight to the weeds. Well, we need to look at infrastructure. We need to look at this. Although those things are important, the right here earlier says outside, it's not hell beyond these walls the way you describe it. People are thriving in a lot of places. They're happy too, finding themselves, finding more than they had before. So I just wanted to add that in and see what y'all thought about that as a level set. We are finding ourselves. You have to understand that, minus the white people, we still have to rediscover who we are. We still have to tap into ourselves. And I think that's what our culture likes to skip over so quickly, because we quickly are on doom and gloom. What can we do? We don't have infrastructure. We go through all the lines of what we don't have. We don't have infrastructure. We don't have a plan. We don't have this and that. And I think that's what's so neat about the beginning of the book, because there was no plan. He don't say, well, this what happened. So now we have this whole plan. Things were just happening in the society. And I wanted to bring that out too, because one thing that we don't always think about is our happiness when it comes to a world without white people. Because in this world, we have to fight for our just to be happy. More or less pay bills or, live, what type of lifestyle. We have trouble being happy. So I wanted to bring that out in the forefront. Before we get into the weeds, they're happy. We're happy. So imagine a world where Black people can be happy and they're finding themselves and returning to what we know to be true when it comes to our culture. And even of course, fighting through the weeds of what that looks like. But he specifically stated that early. People are thriving. Imagine a world where we thrive. We look at it so theoretical, or we'll go back to Africa. We were this, we were that. But just even in this present day, imagine being so happy that you find yourself and you reclaim yourself more than you ever did before. So that's my question to the chat. What does that potential happiness look like for our culture in the future? Before we get into the weeds of the book, because we're gonna definitely tap in, but Black happiness.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, LaDaruis. Go ahead.
So I think we've seen that in the first chapter, but you have to read further along to even grasp that concept of what Dr. Wade is talking about. So if we look at the dichotomy of Charlie in prison, prisoner in the old world, in the new world, where he is free, where he is broken out of jail. He's a professor, an engineering professor.
Mm.
And to relate it to what Dr. Wade said, when he was a kid, he used to take stuff apart. He used to imagine himself as a frequency. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm connected to the source. I just know. You see what I'm saying? So a world without white people, that's a reclamation in of itself. You come back to your natural state. So
yes,
I want to pose
that imagination piece. What can I be if I'm not in prison? If I'm not imprisoned by white culture or going by white standards?
I want to pose the question for the chat, right? So we all saw in real life COVID-19 pandemic, right? So most of us imagine our whole life, most of us adults, we're tired of going to work. We're tired of spending 40 and 60 hours a week at somebody's job. We're tired of, we pray for a vacation, for some time away. We pray to be around our loved ones more. I miss my children. I'm not present for my spouse. And in real life, an ordinary out the world experience happened. And we had months on lockdown. We had months of not going to work. We had months of working from home. And what happened in real life? People got anxiety up, depression up, suicide up, divorce is up, abuse goes up, drugs, alcoholism go up. So you mean to tell me when you were finally free, what you gonna do with yourself in real life? So we gotta redefine happiness. Back to the main question: how you define happiness, right? Because when the whole thing first started, spoiler alert, everything get jacked up because all these systems, like you said, the bank is down. The bank is down. Schools are down. All these institutes that make us happy are down. And so buildings get dilapidated. Things not being maintained. The aesthetics of everything looks different now. Are you still happy? Because most of our happiness is surface level stuff. We're going on a cruise. We're going to take a flight. We're going to get flew out. Our happiness is predicated on materialism, right? So materialism isn't there anymore because the institution is gone. Are you still happy is the question.
I would say that happiness is a temporary escape, right? You could be on Instagram, you can see one of your friends or whoever on vacation, like, dang, how did they get there? You don't know how they got there. They could have went in debt. They just happy for the meantime, but they got to come back home and go to work. And we also seen this during after the Civil War. After quote unquote free slaves free. What did we do? Yeah. What did we do?
And LaDaruis,
how much did you accomplish in that short amount of time? Go ahead.
How many folks stay on the plantation? After Juneteenth, and they said, look, y'all, they come to find out we free. A lot of them left, got freedmen towns and all that, made their own cities. But a whole lot of them just stayed. Like,
or went back and went right back.
What gonna do? All we know is this.
Yep.
They were looking for that orange beach.
Mm-hmm.
What an orange beach.
Yeah, but you see through the book that we're talking about happiness. Okay, the people are gone. White America is gone, right? These are the people that owns everything. These are the people that teaches us. These are the people that feeds us. These are the people that, provide this, that, and the third for us. So everything is in chaos right now. It's really nothing happening because you got people are just burning and scorching things there. It's just chaos and confusing. But even in that, like what you said is, and it is something that's going on today. Like you posed the question, what are you doing today? Like in real time, when you mentioned like the COVID thing, people were still wasting their times. That's why it's important right now for educate ourselves, because in the book, there's only one place that had their shit together. That was Mobile was the only place that had their shit together. When Charlie committed to taking his daughter that he didn't know nothing about, didn't know her, committed to taking her to Orange Beach or taking her to this place that she felt like that she had to go, right? They was traveling, and everywhere they was going, shoot, the towns and cities was in chaos. They might have been happy they didn't, they weren't confined to certain things, but it was in chaos. So it really wasn't a lot of happiness. But what were they doing in the midst of the? Go ahead, LaDaruis.
In the midst of the chaos, what are your thoughts on Chicago? Because in the book it says Chicago looked like ain't nothing changed. You see what I'm saying? They just blackenized everything.
Yeah, that's right. They sure did. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the airports and all that different stuff.
I fool with that.
The airports. Yeah, they did have that. They did take over those things. You had people that, you know what I'm saying?
That goes to that a black person having a European mindset. Everything was still the same. You just blackenized.
Right.
I took out the plastic chairs and put beanbag chairs. You just made yourself more comfortable.
Yeah.
In the same spot.
No, let's hit on that real fast, right? So, again, I'm comparing real life to this fictional book because it's important, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us think we want to be free. You want to have your hands on the steering wheel of it. You don't want to change it. You don't want to revamp it. You want to be the person on the top of the food chain of it. So a lot of our celebrities and ball players and rappers or whatever, they get their bread. You're not doing something radically different. You want to be just higher in the hierarchy amongst them.
I mean, I looked at Chicago like a transition.
Hold on, before you see transition, I want to say back to what Sean was saying. The people that enjoy that, the celebrities and all that, they provide the greatest resistance because they benefit from it. So you can see that with Sailor.
Okay.
Why he said, "Oh, Mobile, you don't want to go there. It's dangerous."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was convinced. He convinced me. I didn't know what to expect from Mobile.
You don't want to go there. It's dangerous. But once you go to Mobile, you will see, oh, so knowing myself is dangerous.
And speaking about Mobile was a Pan-African city, right? It was a place. Pan only means all Africans, right? So it was a pan. It was entrenched in who you are. This is your identity. This is what we need to be doing. This is how we need to heal. This is how we need to move forward, right? So it was a Pan-African city, and they referenced so many different things, in particular when dealing with Africa and so forth, and dealing with Haiti and the revolution and the mindset and having the warrior, and that also having that warrior spirit and intelligence. Like I looked at Mobile as an intelligent hub. I looked at Mobile like the Black Kemet. You know what I'm saying? This was the. Go ahead.
It was a Wakanda.
Yes.
What stuck out to me, people may overlook it. But when they was on that bus, and they opened that back door of that bus, they didn't have guns. He said they didn't have weapons. They had tools.
Mm-hmm.
They had a crowbar. They had a knife. They didn't have guns. Their intentions was not to harm you. It was to help you, to heal you, to guide. They said they surrounded them and they guided them to the back of the bus, and then they took them to Mobile. So I thought that was very, very powerful, because on the other end you have Sailor, who said, "Hey man, we in Jackson. They got this bazooka. They got guns. If a bullet fly, you better. Your best protection is to have a bullet to fly back." So
yeah. Oh boy, he definitely was on that. He was on that.
Yeah.
Get that weapon. Get that
Yes, he was. Always strapped. Always
right.
strapped.
Yeah. That also serves evidence as Sailor being, the black person high up in society, because when he flew the plane to Vicksburg, Mississippi, he had land. They thought it was a farmhouse. No. He had a hangar. He had a lot of planes in that hangar too. So that can represent, prosperity or whatever. Then driving here, I'm born here. The thing that tripped me up was he said he was born there. So how you not know? Or probably he did know what was going on in Mobile. He probably did know that's high black consciousness over there. That's collective black consciousness. You don't want to go over there. It's dangerous. So when he got back to the bus, he was gone. He rejected collective black consciousness. That's why you can't find him. Dipped. And he left his son.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say son. I'm gonna say them. He left them on the bus, as opposed to Charlie looking out for his daughter that he barely knows, and saying and feeling like I would die for this child that I don't know, as opposed to Sailor. I'm dipped out. I ain't trying to.
And you just said,
I didn't even think about it like that.
Me neither. And you just said something when you said they guided them to the bus. Like, you got a group of black people who love black people and always trying to they don't want to hurt them. They always trying to guide them in the right direction, right? And then you got a group of black people who self-consciously hate themselves, so they always trying to harm other people that look like it. And that was when you said that, put me in the mind of Sydney. Because Sydney was ready to kill a damn child. She was a black child. She was ready to gun him down because she's been indoctrinated that black people life ain't worth squat. And most black people in society today think that black life is not even valuable. We always, when certain things are happening for, on the media or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We rallying, but we not rallying when we hating on each other. When we shoot, even though there's a thing on why we do some of the things that we do that we understand, but there's some Negroes that know, but they still self-consciously hate themselves, and they always trying to harm the person that looks like them and value the other person, because we've been indoctrinated to believe that we are nothing. And you know what I'm saying? It's been put.
We're not gonna ask that question. Who taught you to hate yourself?
Yeah. Who told you your hair was nasty? Yeah.
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 Can I pose the next question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
So back to the writing, the literal writing in this book. Back to the LaDaruis thing from the beginning, talking about the first sentence, right? So when I read about the author section for this book, I see that previously he was an award-winning poet. So my question is, how much do y'all think his poetry background played a part in some of the beautiful writing he did in this novel? And I noticed something in the book space. A lot of the former poets that become fiction novelists and non-fiction writers, they're some of the most award-winning writers. Honore Jeffers, Clinton Smith, we can just keep on rattling off names that they have a poet background to them. So what do y'all think about the actual writing in the book? What's your thoughts about that?
Oh, the actual writing in the book? I think the writing was dead on. Like, going back to poetry, like when me growing up and me looking at Def Comedy Jam, not Def Comedy Jam, but what was it? Def Poets. I can't.
Def Jam Poets.
Yeah, looking at that, and then there was something else that came after that, and looking at those things and them people on the forum on TV. These were some of the most intellectual people I have ever seen, because through their poetry, they are conveying, you know what I'm saying, spirituality. They're conveying politics. They are conveying knowledge of self. They are conveying technology. They are conveying so many broad areas of different things. These people, to me, was highly intelligent, which means that these people was highly read. They was widely read, right? So they was intelligent, and that conveyed through their poetry, because a lot of times they was also informing us of what was going on in the world, right? So, you know, me looking at that, I didn't know that he was a poet as well. So that makes a whole lot of sense just reading this book. This book was, like I said, was real well written, you know what I'm saying? And anytime you can read a piece of literature where it keeps you engaged, where you don't want to put the book down, you know, you are a good writer.
And he put it in the book. So when they went to the countryside in Mobile, they went to a place called Redemption Farm. It's a place. It's a place where people go to be rehabilitated. And then at night, they will go lay in the grass, the yellow grass, and then they will recite poetry.
I know Dr. Wade love that. I know Dr. Wade love that.
It brought everything together. Mobile brought everything together. But as far as the writing, the first part of the book, I was intimidated by the words. It was very wordy. And I was like, what are we talking about? Like I was just overwhelmed by the words. But what I will say too about, I didn't know that he was a poet till I got to the end of the book. But I think the imagination piece is important. Like to be able to paint this type of picture takes supreme imagination. And in order for things to make sense, like the way they guided us to Mobile, including Miss Ethel. I don't know if y'all remember Miss Ethel. She was like, I'm not gonna hurt you. She fed him. Charlie.
Right.
Yes, I love her. I love her
in the book, and I gravitated towards her because he got that mothering. So before he even made it to his daughter, before he even made it, you know, anywhere, he got a chance to have that small, you know, 24 hours, 48 hours of redemption, and he had somewhere to charge his electric car. So imagine, you know, we think of what all we don't have. We you know, this is shut down, that's shut down. What we're gonna do? She had resources there, and the land next to her. Remember, they was like, why the land all burnt up? She burnt it down to the gods.
Burnt it down.
You got to start over.
So, like, again, there's so much, again, that creative, that imagination that he gave us early, you know, throughout the book, but definitely early, so we could start to envision another way before we got to Mobile. And I appreciated Chicago as a transition place, because the little girl, she would have known what to do. She already didn't know what to do with black pilots and black ran situation. She didn't know how to chew that. She didn't know how to chew an alternate world. And I also want to talk about her lifestyle. Bless her heart. Whenever we get to that point.
So I have a question. The transition from Chicago to Mobile, not Chicago, from Wisconsin to Chicago, before she get to Chicago, or is it after? Anyways, whenever she get to Kenosha, and you have Mr. Little had her by the neck. He had a Ku Klux Klan outfit on.
Oh,
about to kill her. Mm-hmm. So I want to know, what are y'all's interpretation of that scene? Like a black man dressed up in a Ku Klux Klan. Obviously, he was insane. Obviously, he suffers from a personality disorder. And Dr. Amos Wilson talks about this in his book called The New World Order, where black people where white people have took out our consciousness and replaced it with white consciousness, and that will cause a black person to have like a personality disorder, where if we use Mr. Little as an example, Mr. Little has thoughts and feelings and issues, and then when he bounced back to the little kid, he has different feelings and thoughts and all of that. So I want to know, what are y'all's interpretation of Mr.
So when I asked in the beginning about, we always wonder if all the white folks left, we just good. We're amongst each other. But we're not, because unfortunately, so many of us have been indoctrinated with this thing. Pouring the flood is all we know. So if that was to happen in real life today, all you probably would see is a bunch of us that take the white people place. Just like this. In all the ways. So to me, he reminded me of that. I'm just internalizing them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I definitely I won't be quiet. I was finna say something. It was gonna be ugly, but I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that alone. What we need to do.
No.
Come on, man. This is our podcast, bro. This is our show.
So those type of people are dangerous, right? And just like you said, if all the white people today, just like in his book, would jump in the river and die, there's still things that we have to do. There's work that we have to do to heal ourselves. That was what Mobile was. Their main focus was healing, when they was talking about connecting this machine to the universal consciousness, right? So you have those type of people that has, and I say that we have a lot of black people or white people in blackface, right? Just like Amos Wilson said, they just replace black consciousness. And we see this everywhere that we go, all over the world. We see this everywhere that we go. So if that was happening, there would be those type of people who would try, because we seen this on the plantation. We seen this shit on the plantation. These people, we will have to gather up, just like they was doing with these walkers. Everybody was coming, gathering up so they can get ready to go do the same thing that the white folks did, right? We will have to gather them up. We will have to dig a hole. We will have to shoot them in the damn head and put them in the ground. I mean, it's just sad to say, because it's just those people are dangerous to us healing. Those people are dangerous to our progression. Those people are dangerous to our happiness. Those people are dangerous to us unifying. So those people definitely will have to be shot in the head and buried 10 feet deep. That's just, I could be wrong, but I can be wrong. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's just how I'm feeling on that.
I got a question about that a little bit later on in the podcast. I don't want to dig into what Kofi just said just now too deep, but yeah, we got to address that at some point.
We do.
We got to address that.
I feel like Sydney deserved that, because she had this mindset of her people that she had that chip on her shoulder. Remember, she pulled a gun on the kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a foreshadowing. Like, you think your people are gonna save you. You think when you get close to whatever, they're gonna welcome you with open arms, and you're gonna be received, you're gonna be recovered and rejuvenated back to your whiteness that you you got it so clutched to your chest. And here go this man in he black but with white face, snatch the girl. That's what you get. That's a lesson for you. That was foreshadowing to let you know that that you think is gonna save you is actually gonna kill you. You know, and I think she deserved that, because remember, she was terrified and she looked at her dad, because she didn't even see her dad as a savior. You know what I'm saying? She saw the white ideal as the savior, and she was desperate for it. Like, her desperation was disgusting. Even when she got to Mobile and she started having experiences, but I gotta find, like, grow up. So, like, there were so many through lines and lessons just in that one experience besides, the danger of the walkers. But reality says to her, like, listen, this is not even what you want. And I had to, that unfortunately she had to be shown and snatched. But to me, that was foreshadowing, and that was a play on words. Like, that's not even what's going to save you. You think it is because your mind has been conditioned that this way is the right way. Remember, she was like, y'all stole all this as they were traveling and they were seeing things happening. She was like, it ain't even yours.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's not even like it's y'all stole it. Y'all did that. So she was so deeply ingrained, that we could never have anything on that level,
Right.
So she needed to be snatched out of that by somebody that looked like her.
Yeah.
Person in that whole guard. Had to
And
that.
One last point on the writing before we move on to the next thing. We had a poetry podcast a couple months ago, recently on this podcast, a whole poet podcast, right? And being a poet, I learned something in poetry, man. It's about compression, right? So most times doing a poetry, you got 3 minutes. We're trying to convey a whole story, beginning, middle, end in 3 minutes and make it land. Or in the poet challenge online, you might have 15 words, 11 words. Trying to get a whole concept in 11 words so you learn the idea of no wasted line, no wasted bars. There is no filler. Everything got to land. So I think whenever these poets go into the fictional space or the nonfiction space, there are paragraphs and they're so potent because you learn how to make that potency happen every time. Not just lines and lines of just whatever sentences. Like, no, all this matters. All this is heavy. All this to be chewed on in a short. The book, how long is the book?
283 pages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 283. Not 400. Not 350.
True.
He did all this in 283.
And you can breathe through it.
True.
Breathe. Page turn. So that's impactful writing to me on a writing tip.
Yeah. He let me know too. Well, I already done said that, you know what I'm saying, being widely read, because he talks about he has to be educated on a few little things, even though some things that he spoke, I think he should have did a little bit more research when we talk about some of the cultural. He's talking about, I can't remember one of the cultures that he mentioned, but he should have mentioned the original one, because now he's talking about synchronization. That's when you take an African culture, someone who has been colonized, someone who has been enslaved, and you synchronize the slave master's religion with your religion. In some cases, some people, you did it to hide it. By day, you practice theirs. By day you practice the slave master. By night, you practice yours. And then you had some that synchronized the same. So now some of the just giving us the Yoruba Orishas, the Orisha name Shango might be changed to one of the Christian saints. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Etc. But he did a great job, because he, like I said, when you get them. Oh, go ahead, Sean. What you trying to say? So,
but besides him being an award-winning poet, did you see in the bio that he lived in the UK and the US, but he also travels to Africa? So he probably spent some time over there in Africa for real. I don't know what he's around his lived experience. He probably did it based off of what he experienced himself being in Africa, other places.
Yeah.
That could be a part of the mindset too.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. I was definitely impressed by some of the things that he was talking about. Go ahead, LaDaruis.
So I just want your initial reaction when he pulled up to the king's house and he seen that obelisk in the backyard. What was your first thoughts? What was you thinking about? He got an obelisk in the back. King? Oh, he ain't the king, it's the queen. So I just want to know, what are your thoughts when he started bringing up Black history?
Oh shoot, I loved it. Even with the obelisk, it's in Kemet, it's called a tekken. It's a tekken. And we know that we have those plates, though we know that obelisk and other things that were stolen from Africa and brung here, right? You can go to Washington, D.C. and you can see a tekken or obelisk today. So me just seeing that, I just knew. That's why I'm saying this was a information center. This was a Black hub for Black consciousness. This was Pan-Africanism. This was unity in its finest here. So I was just blown away, you know what I'm saying, with the level of people knowing exactly who they are, you know what I'm saying, and standing in who they are, and even having the patience. Like I've commanded them having the patience with Sydney, like having the pitch, even though she was ugly and she was this, and he was always kind, and the daughter always addressed her as sister, no matter what. You are my family. You are my family. I do not want to harm you. You know what I'm saying? I just love the whole part of, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to, when I got to that part, I had a whole bunch of other stuff that I had to do. When I got to that part of Mobile and reading about the king and the queen and some of the things that they was doing down there, man, I was so impressed. I said, man, I got to keep reading. I can't stop right now. I gotta keep going. So I was definitely blown away. I was definitely engaged with the people in Mobile, and I was like, damn, these people, because I was like, damn, I fed into the BS, and I normally don't entertain BS in my real life. And I was entertained with the BS, and I thought Mobile was gonna be a place, because they was telling this was a bad place. People were coming up missing. The planes was going down. They were just painting a bad picture. And then it hit me too. That's what they do to us all the time. They always paint a bad picture on black people. They did that in with Tulsa, Oklahoma. This place where black people was thriving. You know what I'm saying? So there's always going to be, when we're doing something great, there's always going to be somebody that's, even, and it took me back to Africa. Me growing up, I've seen so many different images about Africa. I've seen so many bad commercials about Africa. I've read about, just as a young boy, bad things about Africa, because they didn't want us to go there. They didn't want us to see what was going on over there in Africa. And because they was already over there robbing and stealing us for all the greatness and the resources that we provide over there for the rest of the world to be able to sustain. Because 90% of the natural resources that we have comes from out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So it just took me back to a bunch of different places, man. Just reading about that, where I started popping and started thinking about so many different things and relating it to real life, you know what I'm saying? And the things that I actually see and I have actually experienced.
Speaking of real life, can I jump in here real quick?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir Charlie was in prison for allegedly.
I knew it.
For allegedly raping this white woman, y'all. There was just a lot that went on right there with me, especially coming off of Ida B. Wells. So tough. And then, like, even listening to him talk about his rendezvous with Sydney's mom, and they had feelings, and that's the one thing I don't understand. I never really understood why he did that in the book, like why the author chose that as part of the plot. I get it for further down, but I'm like, if you taking us to Mobile, why you start with this situation, where now he has a biracial daughter, and he was literally in prison for allegedly raping this white woman, which he never did. And I'm so glad that he got that letter and he kept the letter, because I think inherently, maybe he didn't know that he was going to need that in some way, form, or fashion. And I also don't understand why Charlie was so hell-bent on protecting the image of her mom by not, to me, I would have came out the gate. As soon as I pulled up to her house and I'm coming to get you, here, read this letter. Because I'm trying to absolve myself immediately. So, because she spent the whole, most of the duration of the book with a certain perspective of him, because he didn't feel, I guess, confident enough, or whatever his emotions were, to tell the truth straight off the jump. He didn't even have no buy-in. He had no reason to feel like he needed to protect her, but he did. And that bothered me throughout the book. I can't even hold you, because he let her spend time with him, not knowing where he was, not knowing the reason why, even though he knew. And he could have absolved himself maybe with her earlier in the book, and he could have just positioned himself better. That may not have changed anything. But to me, as a black man, I don't know what that's like. But to me, as a black man coming out of prison, you know what I'm saying? Just, randomly because the white people done walked in the ocean, that would be the first thing I would want to do. And I like the through line, like we started off with, where a lot of our men are incarcerated for crimes they didn't commit. Okay, so to free them all, you repopulated the land, and even speaking of, the power to procreate, the power that our melanin has to transcend generations, and make this possible, a land without white people. It's our genetic information that could annihilate the whole thing.
I also want to point out too, he said we freed ourselves. Like some of our people think that we was freed by Abraham Lincoln. When I got to the part of the book where he finally realized, King, you killed all the white people. I ain't kill them. I healed us. I didn't kill them. I healed us. So that was a big part of the book that I took away from the book. Like, we freed ourselves. Even during the Civil War, we freed ourselves. I was reading this book right here. And every chance we got, we either ran away or started a slave rebellion or try to buy our freedom or get our freedom through the courts. But at every opportunity, we tried to free ourselves no matter what, which led to emancipation.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important what you said, because a lot of our people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? We freed ourselves. A lot of people don't know that we rebelled wherever we went, whether they took us to the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? Whether they took us to South America, whether they brought us over here to North America, we rebelled wherever we was at. We rebelled. We always tried to free ourselves. And sometimes we freed ourselves by we rather die than be a slave, right? So that's very important. But Charlie was, you know what I'm saying, he kind of made me a little upset with that. You killed him? You know what I'm saying? Kind of making it like it was something bad that he did because he was so, and it goes back to what I was saying. We hate the conditions that we in, but we love the people that put us in these positions because we always try to make excuses for them. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of burnt me up. You know what I'm saying? When he did, there's a lot of things that, but I understand the psychology and what happened. You know what I'm saying? And when that happened, I just knew that those things, when it happened, and even now, if that was the case that happened, all white people was to do the same thing and walk into the river. There's no more white people. Let's say Arabs, no more Arabs, right? Walk into the water, and they walk into the water, right? We still have to put the work in, like I was saying, because we still subconsciously hate ourselves. So just because that happened does not mean that our consciousness is going to change, our level of love for ourselves are going to change because that happened all in one day, because this stuff just happened in one day. Everybody that was white got in this trance and immediately walked, you know what I'm saying, into the ocean, walked into the river and drowned themselves where they no longer cease to exist. So there's healing that, and that's one thing that I liked about it was the healing. And I kept healing. And they said that numerous times in there, you know what I'm saying? The healing process, you know what I'm saying? We know we freed ourselves, but now we have to heal. We have to work on ourselves. And that's what I was, and that was like one of the key essentials that I got out of this book.
And then you have to go into that place of history when Charlie went to that wooden house. Wasn't no decorations on the house. It was wood, old. It was the house that slaves came to off the Clotilda. And the one thing that he had to do, that he must do, was take a bath.
Yeah.
Baptize.
Baptize the truth.
Woo!
Baptize
the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Lord have mercy.
And it was in the water, which make it so crazy, the whole water analogy, because
we know how powerful water is as far as different metaphors and spirituality and different other things. Water is one of the most powerful metaphors for a lot of things.
Water in African culture is deified. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know y'all hear about the Happy River in Kemet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The river in Africa. These things are deified because they are essential to nature. They are essential to our survival. They are essential to, like, even with going back, we think that when you go to church, that this is a concept that comes from church by being renewed. Charlie was renewed. Charlie was born again when he went into the water and he emerged out of the water. This is not a church concept, right? This is an African concept. If you study African culture and tradition, you will see that water is essential. Water is essential to your spirituality. Water is deified. So, you know, so it just, like I said, it was just so many different things, man, that I took away when he got to Mobile. Go ahead.
I just want to add on that water is the universal life force. Water holds memory. When he was baptized in that water, what did he see? He saw his younger self.
Yeah.
What do I like to do? I like to put shit together.
Yeah.
I imagine myself as a frequency. Then everything became clear. So then also, you know, some people say water and blood, but all that holds memory, DNA.
Yes.
I have a son. He was just like me. You look at him, you're gonna think of me. You look at my daddy, you're gonna think of me. Or I think of, you know. So
the son was emerged in a sack of water. A sack of water. The woman water break. So water, like I'm saying, water is, I'm telling you, we you know what I'm saying?
Water. So what are they trying to do right now with the water? What's happening with the water in the world right now with AI?
All these data centers, you using up all that water for AI.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you put all the data centers, they are in like mostly black neighborhoods, and they are draining the land of water. They creating deserts, and then they creating deserts, and then increasing your water bill, your electricity bill. Now, where you gonna go?
It's a double negative, basically.
Wow, y'all just put me on.
Who are you waterless? Which means, who are you without your memory? Who are you without your history?
Yeah, cool. Go dig into that off the air. Of course, dig into that with the AI, not with the data centers, what it does to the water supply, because they got to cool off all these data centers.
Right, that's a fact. Okay, that's okay. I'm with you. Because
it's taking up all this water, you know.
Wow.
And shit heating up, you gotta cool it down.
Wow.
And that's why some folks that's against AI, that's a part of their debate, a part of their argument is the impact on the world, impact on the culture, people, the land. That's a part of their argument against AI.
Yes.
Which will make water the most important commodity in the future. Water. You're gonna have to pay $20 for a bottle of water. Who knows?
That's crazy. I'm laughing, but that could be you're right. You're right. Yeah.
The water crisis in Jackson, the water crisis in Flint,
Michigan. Yep. And this sport, I'm telling you, you learn something, man, when you won't hear. And because I give you all right, so I got my own business and I work 4 days a week for a company. I'm not an engineer, but I do engineer work. So I work in the office and I got 4 or 5 different computers in front of me. And I have to know this software, and they use AI. Everything is automated. The machines, do the robots, the bots, they do most of the human work, because they get triple the stuff out of the building than a human being does. But a human being has to stand there every now and then and punch a button. And then if they can't fix it, I have to troubleshoot it. But with all these different AI machines and bots and robots, and then they got a big structure with box that I send commands to go get certain things in the building. They had these big machines. And they have these things that hook up to water hoses that keep this big thing in all of the building cool, to keep the machines cool in order for the AI to work and the machines to run proper. And I'm wow. Yeah, just put me
all that clicks.
That's crazy.
You see? Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
And then they try to
I'm ready to quit.
If you put the shit in the ocean, you're just gonna drain the ocean. I don't think you can drain the ocean. But you know, the whole concept is they taking out water. They taking out memory.
Wow.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep.
They don't want you to,
but y'all,
yeah.
We at the hour and 21 mark. You know, we gonna have to table this and go into the woman segment, man. But anybody got any last thing about the book? Because we'll be talking all day, man. It don't even seem like it's been an hour and 21 minutes. God dang.
It really don't. I gotta ride out. I had a closing question, right? If all the white folks left, like we said, who or what do we worship? Because we all know that all of your life choices are based off that one question. Your culture, how you dress, how you eat, what do you celebrate, how do you go about your day-to-day transactions, your relationship, how you parent, all that predicated on who or what do you worship. So I pose the question, if that was our reality tomorrow, who or what do we as a collective worship?
That's a good question, but that's an answer I know I can't answer. And the reason why I'm saying I can't answer that is because even with that happening, there's still gonna be a division when we talk about, because you still gonna have Hebrew Israelites, you still gonna people who say that they are Moors, you're gonna still have people that actually practice African culture and tradition, or African spirituality, or what we like to call Kimoyo. You're gonna have people who practice Shintoism. You still gonna have people who are a part of the Nation of Islam, or a Sunni Muslim, or a Shiite Muslims. You're gonna have people who still pray to Confucius, to Buddha. You still gonna have certain branches of Christianity, whether they're Seventh-day Adventist, Christian, Southern Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal. So that's a question that I know I can't answer, and I don't know. I really wouldn't. I don't know how to answer that question.
Oh yeah, and I don't expect anybody to have I don't want to ponder it, because, like you said, Kofi, is complex. I don't think any of us have a answer, but I think it's something we got to consider, because again, the people in society that's on drugs, or they sell drugs, or you a scammer, you a robber, you know, whatever, they're gonna still exist. So what do we do with these people, right? Spend that shit. What do we do with these people? Because they are still us.
Yeah.
But based on what you believe, do I want my children around them? Do I want my spouse around them? Do I want to live around them? How do you punish criminals? How do you punish rapists? How do you punish robbers and murderers amongst each other?
There's always been a way. There's always been a way. If you even in Africa, like we think that Africa, I love Africa, but I don't sensationalize Africa. That's not me. Even though I love Africa, I'm a Pan-Africanist, I'm a Black nationalist. I don't sensationalize Africa because I study. You know what I'm saying? And I have connections and relationships with people. So Africa has those same things. So those are where you take those people and you exile those people. You know what I'm saying? Those people have to exist somewhere else. The community have to come together as a collective, and this is what we're doing. Boom, 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 boom. This is the lay of the land. Boom, boom, boom. These is our morals. These are our ethics. This is our edict. This is what the man does. This is what the woman does. This is what the child does. This is how we move forward. Blase, blase. No one conformed in that. Then they will have to move. They will have to go somewhere else, or they will have to die. That's just bottom line. Like I said with the other one, shoot them in the damn head and put them in the fucking ground. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I could be harsh, but I digress. Dr. Wade, you had your hand up or something. I think you wanted to say something.
This gonna piss a lot of people off. But who we gonna worship? That was a message in the book. The black woman. What is y'all talking about? What is we going around about? What is we arguing about? What is we trying to figure out? But that's a problem even for people in our culture, even for the men in our culture. But if you notice, King was like, "Oh, y'all think I run this?"
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a whole paradigm shift. Because again, to Sean's point, we always are looking for something outside of ourselves to worship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are we going to do? And then we're always looking for this strict ass structure. Well, we got to do this, we got to do that. When can we just follow magic? That just may be the whimsy in me because I'm a whimsy girl and I just believe in that type of thing. And I feel like the consciousness takes us there. And even in the book, even the daughter, even the what's her name, Nona. Even Nona was magical.
Yes, it was.
Like we haven't even explored and really delved into the magic.
And what is magic?
The leadership and the role, because she never was like rah rah. She wasn't even in there with the obelisk, like, let me go fix the machine. I'm in here with y'all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody was free. If you look at even the family structure, the sons, you know, everybody was free to be themselves. We don't even need a deity outside of what we already have within us, which is following behind that type of leadership of the black woman. Now he didn't get all the way in the weeds in there, but at some point, I think on one of the pages, Charlie was so enamored with the lady, I forgot her name.
Seraphim.
Woo.
Yes,
black and gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a point in there.
I know she had to be bad.
Woo.
Uh-huh.
And even like she introduced him to that whole scenario with the water, with the bath. She was right there. You know, like, so that takes a lot of like other knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So like when it comes to like what we gonna do, I think that's what's gonna kill us. That's what's gonna hurt our culture more than anything. The panic. What we gonna do? Well, who gonna tell us what to do? That's a part of that decolonizing that we gotta start with, because that's what we gonna look for. Well, if I can't do this, then what else I'm gonna do? And just reprogram that whole piece. And we need to study black women a little bit more. We need to study the black concept, the black woman concept a little bit more. Yeah, but I know it's gonna ruffle feathers because people gonna be like, well, what if she's the angry one? Or what if she's the
we've been indoctrinated. Like, even going back to the religion, and then I'll let you go, LaDaruis. If you look at African culture, a lot of the cultures was matriarchic.
Yes,
but you got a lot of matriarch. They revered the woman. The woman was put on the highest pedestal, right? Yes. So now when you get to religion, let's say when you get to Christianity, because most of us deal with Christianity, most of us deal with Islam. It says that God is above man and man is above woman. This is what it says. It also tells you that the woman was in the Garden of Eden and she defied God. And so it pins the man against, it indoctrinates us and pins us against the woman. And then and when you look in the Quran, if you look in the Bible, that teaches us to be male chauvinists. Everybody that is high in hierarchy are mostly men. That's why I say I don't want to go to heaven if ain't nothing but damn near men. And they talk about Esther, they talk about Mary. It's only a few women but the rest of it is men. I don't want to be up there with all them damn men. And you're trying. So you have indoctrinate us to hate our women and believe that we are, because people tell you all the time, they'll say, you a head of, I said, no, I ain't the head of the household. I said, me and my wife is a head of the household. We both are in front. I'm not in front of her. We both are in front. I don't say this is a man's world where we've been indoctrinated. This is our world. This is not a man's world. This is a man and a woman world. So we've been indoctrinated to go against our women.
But the application of that, there's one thing to know, because I've been in certain environments where the man is like, yeah, and I've heard them say that these are Afrocentric men. Yeah, the woman this, the woman that. But when that woman comes to the front, you don't know what to do with it. You mistreat it, you fumble it, you don't know how to handle it. So that's why I said we need to unpack that a lot more, different conversation, different day. But the question was, who do we worship? It was easy for me. And it was demonstrated. It was definitely demonstrated in this book too. You know, that power of that. And you notice that the women, they were subtle. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to be learned. But that's my response to Sean P's question. I want to know too, as we get ready to close, what was y'all favorite part? I know we gotta go. I know we're trying to wrap up, but I'm curious.
Like y'all said to me, when they got to Mobile and what was going on in Mobile, that was like Wakanda for me, man. That was like a great. We didn't even hit on this, right? This book is speculative fiction. So I know a lot of folks that watch this show, we talk about non-fiction, biographies, history, and all that's great. But we should dive more in a speculative fiction and a reimagining, right? Octavia Butler, N.K. Jemisin, amongst others, they are masters of speculative fiction. So we got to have more fictional reading like this to imagine a world different, like Dr. Wade just said. So to me, that's my favorite part of the book, Mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine too. I that's all I'm gonna say. That mine too. When they got to Mobile, that was my most favorite part of the book. When they got to Mobile.
I'm gonna say mine was when she got to the Orange Beach. She finally made it out there where the little girl finally made it where she want to go. And the first thing she had to experience was the church. And everybody was like, oh, but we'll look at her coming back to what's right. She's coming back to the white way. And then her find out her auntie was something she didn't expect. A passing black woman.
Yeah.
So a lot of things, that was my favorite part.
But then you see how she was trying to get her to be a part of them damn walkers. Girl, we want you to walk in the river. You need to go in the river, girl. I said, this is crazy.
And I love what the author did right there, because he brought in a lot of things that we typically say in the Christian faith, that they say is like, well, we got to bring all these souls, and that's how we get to heaven. Like, he really the punch was good right there for me. So that was my favorite part right there, because it put all that in context, like all these things that we hold on to so true. Those, the people who are like wrapped up in that type of religion, let's apply it right here and let's see, do it make sense? And then none of that makes sense. So he really did a lot of deconstructing right there in that one scene with the young lady and that her whole coming to Jesus moment, so to speak, with them people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, LaDaruis?
My favorite part is the Mobile, but at the same time, I was kind of mad that I got. Like, I should have known better. Like, Mobile shouldn't have been a war zone. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite part is, Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, agreeing with you. I got too, because I said,
me too, because I was terrified. I was like, they got picked up. I was nervous.
But my favorite part was when he was talking to Sailor, when Charlie was talking to Sailor about where was he when everything happened? And he said, I was in prison. Then families, the part for me was families came with tractors and they knocked the wall down.
Mm-hmm.
We freed ourselves, right? Because they could have been in lockdown. They had boat cutters and they had tractors. They knocked the walls down. They cut the boats. Now we free. He said we freed ourselves. So that whole theme of freeing ourselves, King, turn that machine on. I healed us. I freed us. That was my favorite part. So that was my favorite thread throughout the whole book, was freeing ourselves.
I stand with you on that. I stand with you on that.
You know, some people think we can't free ourselves, or we haven't freed ourselves before.
Speak a word.
And we definitely have. So
yeah, most definitely. I've talked
and the whole part is we did it as a family. You can't go on a slave rebellion by yourself. He couldn't turn that machine on by himself.
Right.
And he couldn't free himself from prison by himself as a family.
That's a word.
He definitely put that in there. Families came with tractors and bolt cutters.
We came to get each other.
Me and my wife went to Africa. She looked me in my eyes. She just knew. She got that power, that magic. She already knew I was going to create this machine. She already knew.
Oh, she knew y'all was going to be here.
She knew we was going to be free. So that was my favorite part. Freeing ourselves, my favorite part of the book.
That was deep.
No doubt. Man, we gonna go into the woman segment, but for those who are interested, you know what I'm saying, the book, get the book, man. The book is affordable. Get the book. A Sky Full of Elephants by Cebo. Like I said earlier, this book sold 100,000 copies, right? You know, it's been out.
100,000 reasons you should buy it.
Yeah, 100,000 reasons you should buy the book, man. It's a great book, and we could keep going on and on and on and on about this book. You know what I'm saying, all day long, man. It's a great read. You know what I'm saying. You know, check it out. You know what I'm saying, and you can relate it to so many different things that's going on right now in today's time. You know, to the people around you, how they act. You know, the psychology of other people. It's just so many different things, man, that it just popped up, you know what I'm saying, in my mind when I was reading this book, and I took away from. But let's get into our last segment. Our last segment is the woman segment. The woman segment is, for me, the most important segment, you know what I'm saying, because we don't venerate our woman enough. We don't put her or them on the pedestal that they should be on. In history, we always negate a lot of the things that our women did, a lot of the contributions that they made. We can regurgitate a lot of men just off the dome, but when we asked about some of the women, we can't regurgitate some of those women or even tell you what those women done. So that's why I say this is always my important part of the podcast. So I'm gonna turn it over to our beautiful sister, Dr. Ashley Wade, to end us off with the closing segment.
Fantastic. And I consider it a high honor to bring some women to the front who have done amazing things. And today I'm going to talk about the great Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. This is one of the books that she authored, but she was born in 1935. She passed away in 2016. She was a prominent African-American psychiatrist and author, best known for her controversial Cress theory of color confrontation. Haven't read that book. This book right here is my first introduction to her work and to who she is as a person. But she, in her 1991 book, The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Color. So she wrote this book in the 90s. She dedicated her career to analyzing white supremacy as a global survival mechanism, profoundly influencing Black-centered psychology and political thought. So she was born in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, she earned her MD from Howard University in 1962 and later spent over 2 decades working as a staff physician for the DC Department of Human Services. In the Cress theory, her first published work in 1970, her core theory posed that racism is a system of white supremacy designed to ensure the genetic survival of white-skinned people who are the global minority. And that, to me, her position on white supremacy, her expertise on understanding white supremacy went right on time to me with this particular book, Sky Full of Elephants, because this is the reason why we need to start reimagining our solutions, because of their will, the white people's will to secure their survival. That's what all of these systems are about. That's what all the conscious and subconscious messaging and symbolism is about, that we're not even aware of. So I just wanted to highlight her name in this particular piece of work, the ISIS papers. And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention Dr. Neely Fuller. I don't know if he was a doctor, or Neely Fuller, who was her mentor and somebody that she looked up to guide her thought process on basically breaking down and getting to the root of white supremacy and white patriarchy as an institution. She's and I think too, in our culture, we've talked a lot about racism. We've talked a lot about integration and the color of our skin, our milk, but we've never really got to the root of like why all of that even matters in the first place. And that's what she did an excellent job of. I haven't read the book. I'm just new to it, so I'm getting ready to break it down. But I think it's dope too when I look at her lectures. And we talk about, back in the day, they used to could lecture for 3 hours, 2 and 3 hours. But when I went to look at her lecture, she was so charismatic. She was funny. She was writing on the chalkboard, which I thought was nostalgic. But the point is, adding this piece to the conversation, especially at the back of Sky Full of Elephants. Like, we can get here, like reimagining a world without white people, but to understand, we do have to understand why they do what they do, so that we can be better at playing the game until they go in the water. So at the end of the day, I wanted to highlight Dr. Frances Cress Welsing to the chat as our woman to honor for the day.
All right. That's Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I read that book, I said 10 years ago. I read that book 12 years ago. I read that book in 2014. I was introduced to her. Somebody sent me some video clips of Dr. Frances Welsing going up against some white Europeans, and I was like, damn. I said, let me get.
I gotta catch up to all the interviews.
Yeah,
I read this like 6 years ago.
Yeah, and it's I can't tell you what it's all in it no more, because like I said, it's been 12 years ago. It was 2014 when I read that book, man. But a Gungun Kiki to the ancestor. She is a ancestor. She has done a lot of great things for us, introduced us to a lot of great things. So there you have it, right? You know what I'm saying? So go get, the ISIS paper. If you hadn't had the ISIS paper, it's an old book, but tap into her work. Also go get the book that we discussed today, is Sky Full of Elephants, right? You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed today's podcast. I did, and it's crazy, y'all. And I digress. Like I'm exhausted. I could be exhausted. I could be tired, and I could be like, I don't even want to do this today, man. I just want to just chill. And then as soon as that camera come on and we go discussing, I have a burst of energy, and then I'd be so happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So I enjoy, each podcast episode that we do. I particularly love this podcast that we did today. What does it mean to be Black without white America? We're still posing that question to people in the chat, those who are in the chat right now and those who may come back and look at this later on in the archives. What does it mean to be Black without white America, right? And go tap into both of those works. We appreciate those who stayed on the entire time of the duration. We appreciate those who popped in and pop out. We appreciate those who will go back and look at this later on in the archives. We appreciate the support, supporting the Griots Podcast, Dr. Ashley Wade, LaDaruis, Dennison, Seanathan, Polidore, and myself, Kofi, Piesie. We greatly, greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all got anything else in the last or closing words before we end the show?
I'm in good shape. Peace to the people.
Free yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Mic drop.
Free yourself, man. All right, y'all. Peace and power, man. And we are out of here. I guess we'll end it off with the podcast theme song. We out of here. I might not be on it. Okay, there you go.
I'm in the city, yeah. I'm in the spot, in the vicinity. I'm the hottest up in the city, yeah, I really is. I study the ones that was the realest, the illest. Invented talking about people. West African passengers on the street zone. Adios, amigos. Talking Afro-Latino. Fuck it. This West Side Road. Raising place for the assets of the home. Pulling all this comes in the form of a Creole. In the form of a Creole.